wild man of rock.
What a wild way you got this. You like this turn, don't you?
Yeah, it's my new one.
Is it?
10 seconds, I think, something like that.
Quick!
Here we go. Alright, then take it in your own time.
That's sweet of you. Eric, you seem to have really enjoyed last night and you're preparing now for tonight's concert. Do you ever find that the novelty even a little bit wears off of playing?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose this would probably get a drudge if we did it for another 6 months every night, unless we changed around the material. But as it is, this is only the 5th show we've done altogether, and you know, as a band, we're only just now getting into our stride, and we may not even be getting there yet, and we stop tonight, it's all over.
Isn't that going to be a bit of a sort of anticlimax? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's life, but that's why it's great. It's because, you know, it's just a one-off thing.
And what made you suddenly decide to do some more concerts?
Well, the band was when I decided to do this album with Phil wanted to play drums, and he said, well, who should we get? And I said, well, let's get Nathan and Greg, because I'd never played with anyone that good in my life. You know, and I just dreamed of it as a great little band, and if we went into the studio with a great band like that, we could knock off as much as we wanted. And it worked that way. It all came true, and when we finished the album, everyone wanted to go on the road and just continue. We couldn't stop, you see. So that's how it came about.
And when you're at home, do you play when you're at home? What do you do when you're at home?
At the moment, I'm sort of halfway through making a locomotive. Yeah, funny, isn't it?
Well, a proper one?
Toy train.
Or a little one? How big is it? How big is it?
Oh, I don't know. You said you wouldn't ask me. Now look, that big.
What, can you sit on it?
Or that big. Yeah, it's actually strong enough to pull you around the garden, I think. It's a steam train. So, that's what I do. I like to build models and things, get into hobbies, you know. Very rarely practice the guitar.
Do you not?
No.
So what happens? When does the muse come upon you and you decide that you want to either go back on the road or make an album or whatever?
Well, I usually set up something for myself to do, either in the studio or on the road, and then leave it until the last minute and go into a mad dash.
Now, some of the songs last night were sort of quite funk influenced.
Funk, eh?
Yeah.
Well, like Grand Funk Railroad?
Well, not quite like Grand Funk Railroad, but...
More modern type.
Yeah, hey, you were getting into your groove, huh?
Getting down, yeah.
Have you noticed this particularly? What you've been listening to?
The last thing I've been listening to is Steve Winwood's album, which is only just out, but yeah, I'm just sort of trying to keep abreast, I suppose. I mean, definitely getting these guys, you know, Greg and Nathan, you can't get funkier than that. Although they are a bit West Coast, where are they?
They're asleep just behind the drums.
But I don't think my playing as such doesn't change, I don't think, really that much. The sound changes a little bit, but the framework is what makes the difference.
Are there any new groups that you've been listening to that you've liked?
Yeah, Simply Red, I like Go West.
You like Go West?
Yeah. There's a very new group called Curiosity Killed the Cat that I should plug, because they're the son of one of my friends is playing in it, and they're very good. A bit like Go West.
If you were...
But I saw Go West on your programme.
Yes, because everyone else left and they had to do half an hour.
That's right. And the poor guitarist broke a string, and he couldn't play because he had it tuned up with the tremolo and everything. He broke a string and it all went out of tune. I thought, oh, you poor soul.
Are there any people you'd like to play with, apart from, I mean, you've played with all the greats, but are there any of the new groups that you would have quite liked to have done things with? What do you think of people like Dave Stewart?
Yeah, I think he's phenomenal. I really love his concept of things, and he's so confident. I think that's really important, you know, that he follows his nose and gets it right without any doubt. Well, I don't know, maybe he does have doubts, but it doesn't seem to. The people I like to play with at the moment, we're doing this show tonight with Robert Cray. And has he done the tune?
I don't know, he hasn't.
I think he's dynamite, and he's gorgeous, really good, and a great player, and that's the kind of person I'd like to play if I could get a chance, you know, with Stevie Ray Vaughan, for instance. Stevie Ray, who's he? I don't believe it. You're kidding. You know Jimmy Vaughan, the Fabulous Thunderbirds?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's his brother, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
All right,
Because you do know
all
about
right.
it, don't
I just had to check. But do you think that is it ever difficult for you when you listen to albums because of you being so brilliant? Do you ever listen to albums and sort of get a bit of, spot the mistakes rather than just be able to listen to the music?
No.
Or think, oh, I would have played it like that, or
Oh yeah,
what is he doing?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's happened, but not very often. But I'm mostly critical about what I do. I'm not very critical about other people, unless they're really naff, you know. I mean, I honestly must admit, I don't like a lot of the singing styles that come out of England. You know, the sort of Anthony Newley type singing.
Well, there's lots of that.
There's tons of it, and I can't handle that at all. I still like people to sing with American accents, you know, a bit of vibrato.
Do you know?
Yeah.
There's some people this afternoon told me that one might imagine that in the early days that to a certain extent you spawned a lot of what, when people copied it, became kind of heavy metal guitar playing. So what do you now think of groups like, you know, I don't know what they're called, I've got one written down
Well,
here.
like Rainbow or
Deathclaw.
Deathclaw, I haven't. See, that's too new for me to know. Rat. I haven't heard them.
Deathclaw and Rat.
Deathclaw. Well, I think their name says enough, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't actually go out of my way. I think they're trying to
catch up with Deathclaw.
No, I don't. I can't claim responsibility for that. I think, if anything, I may have had something to do with the sound of the guitars being like that. But in terms of what is played, I haven't heard anyone, you know, usually from those groups, they just make a lot of noise. And they don't have a melodic thing at all. It's sort of anti-melody. And I'm a bit too romantic for all that.
Are you very romantic always?
Very, very. Real sentimental.
Are you?
I should be crying tonight up there.
Will you?
Oh, yeah.
You're doing all the soppy songs and...
Well, you know, yeah. No, we won't do any something just because it's the last night of this little thing. It'll be very...
Because one of the things I was thinking when I listened to stuff that you've done in the past, that perhaps do you never feel in retrospect that you've revealed rather a lot of yourself in songs?
Yeah, but that's probably because I don't reveal a lot of myself in other ways. You know, I'm quite, like you were saying about Jeff, I'm very, very concealed sort of personality most of the time. So I can safely do it in my songs. I like to have a good private life, or fairly private, you know.
Well, it's not very private,
It's
is it?
fairly private. It's fairly private.
Scorching.
Well, now and then, yeah, well, you know. But there's sort of interim periods when it all dies down again. You're a naughty girl.
I'm not. I just think that a lot of it comes out in songs, and perhaps, you know, for somebody who's remained very private from the point of view of just publicity,
yes.
Actually most people feel like they know all sorts of things about you.
Do you think they really do?
Yeah, I think they know.
Yes, that's what I mean, but do you think they really do? No one really does.
No, probably not. What do you think about, you did the biography.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, now that you look back on the book?
Well, I tell you the actual truth about the book was that Ray gave me, he won't mind me saying this because it's all above board, but he gave me a draft to read and to correct whatever. And I did that, and then I went off on the road. And this was the middle of last year. And, or was it the middle of the year before? I don't know. I came back and the book was out. And, I was a bit taken aback because it hadn't been changed, or, you know, I still hadn't seen another draft from the one I'd corrected. So I jumped the gun a bit. And there was lots of arguments about, you know, the market being ripe and all this sort of thing, which didn't make it any better for me. I mean, when you open the book, the first thing you see photographically is a picture of my uncle and my great-grandma, and it says underneath Eric and his mother. You know, and they're wearing sort of, she's got a flapper's outfit on. It's like 1910, you know. How do they work that out? So it's actually fairly incorrect on a lot of levels, and a lot of things...
But he used your diaries.
Yes.
You're obviously a keen diarist.
I let him have the diaries and said, well, you know, if we're going to be...
Well, how did you feel about somebody else reading your diary?
Well, that particular diary, funnily enough, on the opening page said, read at your leisure and, you know, add bits if you want to.
Add bits if you want to? I would have thought that was a bit risky. What? Add bits if you want to.
It was good fun.
You sent a postcard to your dog.
Yes. I know. I know. I know.
Now, why were you called Slowhand?
Because I'm very slow. I'm not a very fast player.
Is that why?
I don't know. that's my reason for looking at it. I think it's